Hello and welcome to Real Hi-Fi Help. Just before I start this video, I just want to tell you guys, I have over 150 videos. Go and look at them all. It's like you getting $1,000 from me every time you are watching one of my videos. So watch it from start to end and like it if you can. Okay, now with that out of the way, should you repair and upgrade audio note gear? Well, let me just tell you what I think, and probably also what AudioNote wants you to think. This is just me guessing, but I think that you should generally let an authorized AudioNote dealer do the repair job because of warranty issues and getting the highest quality repair job. And also because I've experienced that a lot of technicians outside of AudioNote dealerships don't know how to remove the lacquer on the cables, and they don't use AudioNote soldering tin, and it just downgrades the sound. I've heard a lot of stuff that comes back from these technicians, and it's just subpar jobs that they do. A lot of them do. There are exceptions to the rule, as always. You can't really generalize with all these technicians because they're all kind of different, but also, I think I actually forgot to write here. Now I'm remembering it. Is that I remember several times having things repaired, and this wasn't at AudioNote dealerships. These were all the other places usually. And what they would do is that they would take the equipment and they wouldn't give you a price on how much it would cost to fix that. They would usually take the equipment, and 1 to 2 months would pass before they would call me and then give me an offer. And that psychologically puts you in a situation where whatever they say, you most likely will take that offer. And I'm just telling you guys, it's kind of a mean trick that a lot of technicians do, where they take your equipment hostage. And I mean, we're talking about professional guys that are taking 150 bucks an hour, and it takes them still 1 to 2 months before they start giving you an offer to do it. I find that very mean. And yeah, maybe you guys also experience that. And I know that, they have a huge stock of equipment that they have to go through, and that's maybe just the name of the game because you can't really do it a lot faster than that. I get it, but I just find that really nasty because every time I go to my AudioNote dealer and I want to get him to do something for me, it's like, he always gets that done within like 2 or 3 days. And yeah, he might take 10% more or something like that. But at least, I know that he can do that, even though he doesn't do the very best job in the world. He still does a hell of a lot better job than most technicians outside of AudioNote dealerships. So yeah, kind of interesting, but just want to go back to the video. I don't recommend that you upgrade AudioNote gear with individual parts. And I know it's a bit self-contradictory because I also keep telling you guys that AudioNote is basically the best gear because it's the most reactive and yada yada yada. That is true, but you also have to know that when people upgrade, when people that aren't within the AudioNote circle and aren't really accustomed to dealing with that specific equipment, there are a lot of small trade secrets that get lost, and when you just use these standard ways of dealing with gear, you will most likely get a sound that will get back to you working, but it usually loses a tiny bit of its purity, its original AudioNote sound. So yeah, upgrading, it's so tempting looking at prices from Hi-Fi Collective, and then realizing that, you can save like 10, 20, 30, 40% on buying the stuff yourself and then just putting it in yourself because you've got some experience dealing with that. No, don't think that it's that black and white. I've had a lot of friends that that did this, and they always ended up with a sound that isn't quite as good as the stock audio note sound. So you have to understand the fact that it isn't just about getting the parts or getting the original parts. Many times there is a sort of a pairing that goes along with that's part of the whole process, and it can actually affect the musical timing by quite a bit, so you never really get into that same type of sound. So yeah, I've heard a lot of do-it-yourself audio note gear that was modified, and it just somehow sounded wrong. You couldn't really put your finger on it, what was wrong, but it just didn't sound quite right. There was something about the details sticking a bit out that wasn't quite as integrated, and sometimes it's just pretty damn obvious, especially when you put some Jansen caps into like an audio note speaker, and then you're thinking like, oh, you're really smart because these are much more powerful than the original ones that audio note put in. Yeah, but they might be, but then you still most likely will have a signature that's totally downgraded because of that. So stop taking these shortcuts. Stop looking at audio note kits. Stop trying to fix it yourself. It just, most people can't do it. There's less than 1% of the people that, I would say, this is just my opinion, but I would say that there's less than 1% of the people that tinker with audio note gear that will actually make it, to the same level of what audio note did, or maybe a tiny bit better. And it's just, you just can't trust normal people, do-it-yourself people to deal with this unless they've got some kind of involvement with audio note. So yeah, that it's just, stop trying to deal with this yourself. You'll just most likely get burned from doing it, and end up using a half good amount of money and just not quite being satisfied. And it will always, with a lot of these bad jobs that are done, I've seen a lot of these visiting my local audio note dealer, and just a lot of people just trying to save money here and there, because we have to realize it's a big trap in the hi-fi world that a lot of people, they only have like $50, $100, $200, $300, $500. That's all that they have, and because of that, they put themselves in situations like this where they buy it probably half price of Hi-Fi Collective, then they try and put the whole thing together. It goes wrong. They then have to take it back to the dealership. The dealership then has to work with these foreign parts that aren't 100% audio note. They're like from Mundorf and Jansen and other brands like Duelund, Silver Cable, or whatever they put inside. And these things don't really speak the same language. They might be the same specifications, but it isn't enough having the same specifications with audio note. Audio note is on such a high level that you can't really put other types of parts in it, even though it's the same specifications on paper. It just won't sound nearly as good. You can do that with a lot of other subpar brands, and then you can actually improve the sound quite a bit by doing that. But once you read audio note levels of gear, I seriously recommend that you just don't tinker with it. Take it to an audio note dealership if it needs repairing, and then maybe once in a while you can get like one thing or maybe two things done with your audio note gear, because you haven't got all the money that you want to get the next, I don't know, CD player, amplifier, whatever, and then they can guide you to what is appropriate, and then they have to go through that process, check with audio note, and they're in that in that rare situation, you can actually get an upgrade from your local audio note dealer, and it will most likely be a very good job that they do. And do it that way. Or if it just seems very expensive, just get rid of your audio note gear, sell it used, and then get something used or something new from audio note that just is better. Just don't tinker around with all of these small, cheap, do-it-yourself audio note solutions. Most people just destroy the sound. I've seen this so many times. So yeah, just a really good tip. And also, remember that AudioNote Kit is not nearly the same quality of sound as AudioNote is. AudioNote Kit is good. AudioNote Kit is far better than a lot of brands out there, but you should consider it a totally different company because they use different parts and they use a different sort of those parts, and they end up with a different pairing. So don't consider AudioNote Kit's audio notes. You should consider those two separate companies on two different levels, where AudioNote is clearly the better one, and it's also directly reflected on the price. So don't forget these things. These are really crucial. So yeah, that was all I wanted to say in this video, and remember to like and subscribe, and yeah, go through all of those 150 plus videos that I've made. That's like me giving you $1,000 every time you've seen one of those videos. So just look at them all, like them all if you can, and remember to like and subscribe. Bye.